Hello again, YouTubers. Welcome back to the Board Game Captain. I'm your host, the Board Game Captain, and today I'm going to be running through my top 10 most anticipated games for Gen Con. Now, each one of these games were taken from the Gen Con preview list over at Board Game Geek. I'm going to put a link to the Gen Con preview list in the description down below, so feel free to go check it out. Now, that list includes all games that are being released at Gen Con or just released for demo at Gen Con, as well as games that were released right before Gen Con. So now, but for this list, I've excluded all the ones that are only available for demo. So these are just ones that were either just released already or are being released for Gen Con, but games that are being released around Gen Con. So these are ones that will be available for purchase. And now I do want to call out two different channels really quickly. These channels inspired me to make this list. They are Bauer's Game Corner and the Dice Tower. Now, both of them have already done their top 10 lists for the games they are most anticipating over at Gen Con, but their lists are rather different than mine. I do have some crossover with them, but they are rather different. And because of that, I thought it'd be interesting for me to add my 2 cents, and you can watch my list and watch their list and see who you agree with more. I'm going to put links to both of their lists down below, and I do want to give special shout outs to Bauer's Game Corner and to the Dice Tower, because both of them were very influential in making me decide to make my own board game channel, which I did about a year ago now. Bauer's Game Corner really inspired me to make my channel, and the Dice Tower really inspired me to make my top 10 list. And I definitely patterned my 3-person top 10 list, obviously, after their 3-person top 10 lists, which are excellent, that they do with Tom, Sam, and Z. Of course, I do mine with myself, Lynn, and Alex. Now, whenever I'm sick and I'm stuck at home and not feeling well, I binge watch their top 10 lists. I think they're great. So big shout outs to both of those channels. I think you guys are both awesome if you happen to watch this. But without any further ado, I'm going to get to my top 10 most anticipated games of Gen Con. So my number 10 is Pinball Showdown. Now this is a little independently released game, but here's the thing. In addition to being obsessed with board games, I am a pinball fanatic. And they had me at board game based on pinball. That was it. That was all they needed to tell me. And I was like, I want to buy that game. Now, I understand that the mechanics of the game represent you actually being a pinball and trying to direct yourself into the different high scoring areas in the machine. But they had me at board game based on pinball. I was good. Now, my number 9 is Joraku. Now, Joraku is a Japanese-themed trick-taking area control game. It's a hybrid card game board game. You have a board with these different areas, and on one end of the board, you have areas that are worth a lot more points, while on the other end, you have the lower point areas, but they give you better special abilities for playing pieces there. And it's a trick-taking game, but if you win the trick, you get to either put pieces on the board or move pieces around that are already on the board. It seems really fun. This is a game that really seems right up my alley, except the only problem I have with it, and the reason it's so low on the list, has to do with the fact that it's a minimum of 3 players. I usually prefer games that have a minimum of 2 players, so I can play them when it's just Lynn and I, because 2 players is the most common number of players I have available to play a game when I'm looking to play a game at my house. It usually goes 2, then 4, then all other numbers. So I have a feeling, though, that this game will be really fun at 4 players, and it might become a staple of my game nights in future time period. I really hope that is the case. Now, my number 8 is a little card game from Taiwan called Village of Horror. Now, this game I discovered through the Board Game Geek list. I didn't know about it beforehand, and it seems really cool. Now, it has a similar theme to like the werewolf games, where some people are werewolves and some people are villagers and you don't know who is who, but it plays totally differently, even though the theme seems similar. This is a card game, and you have a hand of cards, and you have cards you have to place down in front of you face down, and one of the cards represents what faction you're in. And there are 3 factions. You can be villager, you can be a werewolf, and there is a 3rd independent faction. And you're trying to manipulate the cards on the board either in front of other people or in open ones that are in the middle of the table to make your faction's cards most plentiful. And the thing is, you don't know what factions the other players are in until the end of each round when it's revealed. And the people that were in the faction that became most plentiful win and get points, while other people don't get points. You play through a few rounds of this, and whoever has the highest score wins. Now, this one seems really interesting to me. It is supposedly playable at 2 players, but this does seem like one that'd be better at 3 and 4 and 5 players. I'm definitely going to have to try this out at all different player counts before reviewing it, but I am excited about Village of Horror. Now, my number 7, and this is a game that's already out in stores, but it is on the list, it is on the Board Game Geek list, is Fox in the Forest, and this is another trick-taking game, but this is a specifically 2-player trick-taking game with a very quirky scoring mechanic. I've watched some videos on it already from other channels who already have their hands on it, but this is one I really want to pick up at the convention, and I'm very excited about, and I can't wait to play it a few times and do a review and tutorial video for it myself. So, my number 6, now this is one that has flown kind of under the radar for most other channels. This was a small release by a new company that made this game for a Kickstarter, and that is 1750 Britain versus France. Now, this is about the Napoleonic Wars, and you know what? I absolutely love things about that time period. I think it's very interesting. One player plays Britain, one player plays France. It's a specifically 2-player game. This is a card game that simulates the entire war as you fight over the different colonies in the different areas. So I am very excited to check out 1750 Britain versus France. Now, number 5 is one that a lot of other reviewers are also excited about and have been talking about quite a bit, and that is Unearth. Now, Unearth is a game that has a bunch of cards out, and you have dice that you roll, and you can assign them to cards. And when enough numbers on the cards meet a certain threshold, someone gets the card, and whoever with the highest numbered die on it gets the card. And you have mostly 6-sided dice, and you have one 4-sided dice and one 8-sided die. And if you roll low, you get to get these counters that you build circles with that will get you points in a different way. So whether you roll low or high, there's different strategies you can aim towards to trying to score points. And this one just seems really fun. I'm very excited about Unearth. Now, my number 4, and this is another one that most other reviewers aren't talking about, though I believe it was on the top 10 list of Sam over at the Dice Tower, so it might be a little bit of crossover between Sam and I, is Shadows in Kyoto. Now, this was another game from a small company in Taiwan, which is going to be available in limited quantities over at Gen Con. I've pre-ordered mine, though, so I definitely have it available. Now, this game is meant to represent 2 different groups of spies fighting for control in Kyoto, and the thing is, the play style has a similar mechanism to the old classic game Stratego, which is one that I think should be borrowed more often for modern games. So you have your pieces, and your opponent can't tell what they are, and your opponent has their pieces, and you're moving around on the map and trying to deduce what pieces they have and if you can beat them. Now, in this game, I believe the numbers on the pieces are 0s through 3s. 3s beat 2s and lower. 2s beat 1s and lower, 1s only beat 0s, and 0s beat 4s. But here's the thing, and this is something that's very interesting. 1s through 4s represent spies who have information that you want, but 0s, well, they have misinformation that you're intentionally trying to feed to your opponent. And the thing is, you win if you manage to capture 3, I believe, 1s through 3s. However, if your opponent tricks you into capturing 2 0s, you lose. So this one seems really interesting. It's a strictly 2-player game, and I am very excited to check out Shadows in Kyoto. My number 3 is Yamatai. Now, Yamatai is a game by 2 designers. One is a brand new to the industry, but the other is the same designer who did the game 5 Tribes, which I love. I love 5 Tribes. I've already done a review and tutorial video to that, and there's some similarities to Yamatai, though the base mechanic is totally new and different, and I'm very excited for Yamatai. It's definitely one I want to try to pick up. My number 2 is the game Gateway Uprising. Now, this was a small company tried to do this game, but it was one of the companies recently bought out by Simon, where they've been buying out games that had unsuccessful Kickstarters, but they thought looked really interesting and good and wanted to refine them a little more and then release them themselves. And this is one that I think has amazing artwork, interesting design elements. It's a combination deck building and area control game, and it's weird because you are competing against each other. You're trying to be the new group that takes over the city, but in addition, sometimes you have to cooperate to fight off monsters and also to fight the city guard, which are enemies of everyone. And you know what? This seems really cool, and I'm very interested to check out Gateway Uprising. And now for my number one most anticipated game of Gen Con, Wasteland Express Delivery Service. This is a pick up and deliver game in a post-apocalyptic world, and this one hits with me on so many levels. First off, I love pick up and delivery games. I was a big fan of the old game Merchant of Venus, and the update, the new version that they did, was even better. I thought it was fantastic. I'm a big fan of the Firefly board game. I love the pick up and delivery games. Not everybody does. They're not to everyone's taste, but I like them a lot. Lynn likes them a lot, so we do enjoy those. In addition, that post-apocalyptic theme is amazing. I've always been obsessed with Mad Max, and this one really feels like Mad Max the board game to me. And when you think about it, with the exception of the very first Mad Max movie, the second one, either Mad Max 2 or The Road Warrior, depending on what country you're in, the third one, Beyond Thunderdome, and the fourth one, Fury Road, all of those movies lend themselves to the theme of a pick up and delivery while fighting off raiders. Because think about it, in The Road Warrior, or Mad Max 2, they're trying to deliver the fuel while fighting off the raiders. In Beyond Thunderdome, they're trying to help the people escape, including Master of the pair, Master Blaster, and trying to escape the raiders. And in Fury Road, they're trying to outrun the raiders with the milk and water and the wives on board, while also trying to escape the raiders. So it actually feels like a theme that really lends itself to this pick up and delivery while running the gauntlet kind of game, which is what they seem to have tried to do, because while you are delivering, there are lots of post-apocalyptic raiders around that will attack your vehicles. So very excited for Wasteland Express Delivery Service. So there you have it. That is my top 10 most anticipated games to be released before or at Gen Con that I am very excited to pick up. Now that I showed that to you, I hope I didn't misspell anything. Let me know down below, what games are you super excited for that are coming out at Gen Con? Feel free to comment them down below. If you have any comments, questions, or concerns on this video, put them in the comments down below. And remember, I'm going to put links to the Board Game Geek list of all the games being released around Gen Con, to the video, and also to the videos from Bauer's Game Corner and the Dice Tower of their top 10 most anticipated games for release at Gen Con. They're all going to be in the description down below. And if you enjoyed this video and would like to see me do more like it, please give this video a like, share this video, and if you haven't already, please subscribe to the Board Game Captain. That's Captain spelled with a K on YouTube. And until next time, game on.